Jack, hi, you made it.
Yeah, good, man.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. How are you?
Good, good. So you just had some, you were sick last couple weeks ago when we had it scheduled or something. So everything's okay now?
Yeah. I just had a bit of a cold, man. No big deal.
Hmm. I guess, yeah, I forgot about regular colds. You just, you hear so much.
Yeah, right. But to be the only guy is COVID. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I ain't COVID.
And it's like
I've had COVID. I've had COVID 4 times.
four
It's
times?
4 times, yeah, but it's never been a big deal.
Wow. Well,
Like
yeah, because
really
it's,
mild.
I mean, you're getting up there. Like the older you get, the more risk there is, right?
Yeah, but I didn't feel that bad. I feel like I don't. What now? Oh, on tour, yeah, I felt really bad on tour. One time I got it. I had to cancel the show. That was the only time that I felt like really knocked down by it. I've had it 3 other times at home, and it wasn't that bad. It was like mild.
Did you get
But
like
when
the
I had
Joe Rogan treatment that celebrities get though, or did you just fight it naturally?
it, I just got the regular old Joe treatment. You know what I mean? Just a regular guy. I hear 2 aspirins. Call me in the morning.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better.
Oh yeah,
16, we got a new record out, Russell Guns. Is it officially out yet? Or yeah, it is, right?
yeah.
At this point, yeah, because I think before it wasn't. So, but this was interesting. So if we go back in history, I don't know if you can remember this, but Axl Rose gave you a demo tape and you told him
Yep.
the band's
Band sucked.
but his vocals were good. But now wasn't that Tracii Guns that was playing guitar on that demo?
I don't know.
I
Could
think
be.
so maybe Tracii has gotten better since then.
Well, yeah, Tracy's great, and I love his guitar playing. I
Yeah.
just maybe just didn't like the music. I can't remember what it was I didn't like about it. It was a long time ago, man. That was back when I was in Dante Fox. You know, that was a long time ago. That's the first time I ever heard about anybody knowing that story.
Yeah. No, that's
I didn't know it until one Christmas. Me and Axel were having breakfast together. Guns N' Roses and Great White used to always have Christmas breakfast together because my manager handled both of us. So that was like our little thing, you know what I mean? And
right.
I went up to
Alan Niven.
Axel one day. Yeah, I went up to Axel one morning. I said, dude, why is it that it seems like you got a hard on for me or something? Like you're pissed off at me. He goes, you don't remember me, do you? I go, no. Do we know each other from before or something? He goes, well, I'll tell you, it was one night at the Troubadour. Um, I used to come see you guys all the time, Dante Fox. And he goes, uh, I went and saw you guys and you were down there and I gave you a demo tape to listen to. I said, hey man, what do you think of this? And you talked to me, you said, yeah, man, I think your singing's great, but the band sucks. He goes, I've hated you for that for all these years, man. I go, whoa, I'm so sorry, dude. He goes, yeah, you were right, though, man. They weren't any good. He goes, I appreciate the comment on my voice, though. He goes, I've been mad at you all this time, for all these years for that reason. I go, wow, man, I'm sorry. Had I known differently, I would have. He goes, nah, man, you told the truth. I go, well, thank you. I appreciate it, man. Don't have a mafia hit on me or something.
Well, I wonder if that was part of the reason that he then changed musicians, because I think he scrapped a lot of those the players that were in the band when he gave you that demo. If I'm looking at the dates right, I could be off a little bit, but I'm pretty sure it was Tracii Guns, and then he changed to Slash. Maybe that was a reason.
Maybe. I don't know. That would be nice to think that my opinion was that high rated, you know?
Yeah. Well, and you're good friends with Steven Adler too, and Slash.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Adler was a good friend. Yeah. Duff. Yeah.
Because didn't they suggest Slash and Duff suggested that you guys covered the Wasted Rock Ranger song?
Yeah.
You still play it for
Yeah.
special occasions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
When was the last time you?
I see you've done your homework.
Yeah. When was the last time that you've seen any of those guys?
Oh, God. Guns N' Roses guys? Phew. Let's see. I saw Slash at um, that metal show when I went down to do that with Eddie Trunk. Um, that was a televised version.
Yeah.
Let's see. I saw Duff the last time I saw him was at Sony Records. I was down there meet with John Kalodner. He was down there floating around doing something. And that's the last time I saw him. He looked great. And geez, this was like back in '99.
Wow.
It was a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen the Duffster.
What about
Yeah.
Steven Adler? Because like I would think that maybe you guys might play
I,
some of the same shows.
yeah, I saw him. We played a couple of shows together since the old days. Yeah, he's great, man. What a great kid. I'm glad he came out okay from that. It was pretty devastating, man. The stroke and whatnot. It was that was pretty. He might not have came out on that at all. It could have
Yeah.
been just more devastating, but he can still play.
Is that hard now? Because now you guys are getting a little older. It's like you got to try to stick to the sobriety thing. Is that hard though? When you see like a Steven Adler, it's probably you're like, oh, I kind of want to have a beer with Steven Adler. Like, it's like what you did back in the day.
Yeah, but then you look at him now and you go, "Do I really want to end up like that?" I mean, no offense to Steven, but I mean, it's a good lesson learned there. You never know what's going to happen if you party too much. I partied my ass off for years, and I had to take it to a point where I was like, okay, now it's time to shut the engine off. I mean, I can coast the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's like you get to the point where it's not even fun anymore, right? Because it's
No,
like,
it's not because I mean, you don't even get high anymore. It's just like I could drink, and I'm just chasing the dragon because I never feel like I used to feel. So what's the point?
yeah,
Just giving somebody money to go out and get me full or drink or something. It's not fun anymore. You're right, because it doesn't have the same effect as it used to. You
yeah.
know.
It's almost like a lot of like even myself in my 40s, I notice I'm like, okay, like I start getting into more like supplements and things, like trying like mushroom things and things that are like
Right, right,
healthy things that make you feel good. It's totally different. And it still tastes terrible, just like drinking a shot of vodka, shot of wheat
right.
grass tastes terrible, but it makes you feel better.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
I
this
get it.
it's good stuff. But I was going to ask you, so this new record, it's really cool. I've been listening to it. Like, I love the guitar work. Now, you guys didn't write any of the songs, right? You're just, they gave you the material and then you put your stamp on
That's
it.
correct. That's correct. Yeah, they gave us some material. We just played it. You know.
Yeah.
I
So,
mean,
like,
we made a few changes along the way. I mean, to fit our own, thing. But I mean, the music was the music, and the melodies were the melodies. So I try to keep the truest form as they wrote it. I mean, in respect for them. Um, and I think it came out really cool. I was really surprised. I mean, the songs they are what they are, and it's a different style of music than I would normally do, but it's still rock and it's still poppy, and I'm happy with it.
yeah, because I think like Next in Line, that's such a bluesy riff. That could almost be like a Great White Song. I mean, I think they have
Yeah,
a piano on it. And I love the guitar work on that one, especially.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, that one's
Yeah,
cool.
I think we can.
And then, but one of your favorites you said was Living a Lie, which is more of a somber tune. Now, how do you draw on the emotion to sing a song like that? Because is it similar to like an actor, like you're getting in character, or are you just singing the notes and you're kind of detached from the song?
No, I try to get into character, so to speak. You know what I mean? As much as I can. I mean, basically, we've all suffered the same emotional ups and downs as being humans, and we all know about heartbreak and about love and about, all the goods and the bads of relationships. And that's mostly what this record's about, you know. And so I just try to take it from there, with the lyrics, or I just try to live them, as much as you can
Do you have any?
without it being
What's that?
without them being your lyrics. You try to live it
Right.
as much as you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for that life advice for relationships? I mean, it is Valentine's Day. I don't know, like Jack Russell, you said relationships, like if like you've had some good ones, some bad ones. What advice would you give to younger people in relationships?
Well, don't get married too early. Don't tie yourself down when you're too young. I mean, You think you're 24 or 25, you're ready to get married. You're not. You're not. At least hold off to your 30s. You know, then you might have an idea what you're doing.
You think that's
You
the
know?
same for men or and women, or do you think that
Oh yeah, yeah, I think so.
yeah.
I think so. I think people get married way too young. That's why there's so many divorces. You know, and people don't rely on each other as much as they used to either. You know, so when things get hard, it's like, oh, okay, see you later. It's like, what? I just gave you the ring yesterday. Can I have the ring back at least?
Yeah,
Not.
seriously. That's good advice. My dad told me the same thing. That was like one of his biggest. He's like the biggest mistakes people make are getting married too young or dropping out of school too early. But now you dropped out of school. I mean, you kind of knew from age, what was it, like 6, that you were going to be a rock star?
Yep.
Did you
Yep.
have a lot of people like saying that, telling you that you couldn't do that? Do you have any memorable stories of that?
Oh yeah.
Teacher or family member or friend saying you can't do this?
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. There was a bunch of people that told me I'd never make it. I remember, this one guy, he called me up. I was still living with my parents, and we were getting ready to play the Forum in Los Angeles. And it's like the big arena down there, it's like the biggest arena in LA. Except for like the Staples Center and things like that. But this was at one time the biggest arena you could play at in LA. The Forum was like 20,000 seater, And we were playing there. I remember this guy I hadn't talked to in years, and he was one of those naysayers, and he used to always say, "Oh, you'll never make it, man. You're just a drug addict." You know what I mean? What? You're just a drug addict with delusions of grandeur. I'm like, okay, I'll remember that. And I remember he called me up like the day before the show at my parents' house. Hey man, how you doing? This is Pete. Hey, what's up, Pete? How you doing? Long time no talk to, man. What you been up to? Same old stuff, man. Just hanging out. I haven't talked to you in years. Yeah, I know, man. What you been up to? Oh, I'm just doing the rock and roll thing. Oh yeah, I heard. You're playing somewhere around here, aren't you? I go, yeah, I guess you heard playing tomorrow night at the Forum. Really? Oh, wow. God, you did pull it off, man. Congratulations. Oh, you didn't know, huh? No, this is the first I heard of it. I go, wow, what a trip, man. Well, hope you can make it, man. I gotta go. See you later.
Yeah, wow, that's got to be vindicating then.
Yeah, it was. He was fishing for the free ticket,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. I was waiting for him.
Yeah,
He didn't actually ask, but it sounded like he was definitely
he would
fishing.
have. I just didn't give him the opportunity.
Yeah. Wow, that's funny. So what do you have any plans for this latest record? Or I don't even know, it's probably not your department, but I was assuming that maybe the management would try to get these songs placed in film, TV, video games, commercials, something like that.
I would reason so. I mean, that they would do that. But you never know. I mean, I've learned not to have expectations on people because generally they let you down. You know, but
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. I mean, it's not a big deal to me. I mean, either way. I mean, I hope the record turns out great.
Yeah, and you're already signed up for another one with him, with Tracy.
Yeah,
Would that
yeah,
be the same process where they provide the songs, or do you think you'd actually be able to
yeah,
sit down and write a song with Tracy? Because I'd be curious to see what you two come up with songwriting wise.
yeah. I would too. Actually, that's a good point. I may bring that up with the label. I want to do a couple songs with me and Tracy, right?
Because you've never actually sat in the same room. This was all recorded.
No,
Yeah.
we've never. No, I haven't talked to Tracy in years.
That's
It's
so
been probably
crazy.
about 6, 7 years since I'd spoken to Tracy.
Yeah. Now,
Isn't that wild? You
what's
could
that?
do a record together. Isn't that wild how you could do a record together and not even see each other or
Yeah.
speak? That blows me away, man. I was like, I'm going to do what? I'm going to sing where? He's going to be where? The record's going to be mixed and where? It's like, okay, you're singing in Denver. That's going to go to a studio in Los Angeles while you're singing. It's being recorded there. And Tracy's going to be wherever Tracy's going to be. I assume LA, singing to uh, a studio in Italy, and they're going to take that and combine it all and put it together, and there you go. You got Russell Guns album. It's like, what the hell? You know, I never, if somebody would have told me 20 years ago that this was going to happen, hell, 20 years, 10 years, I would have told, man, go shit your shorts. That ain't, it ain't right.
Yeah, that's crazy. And he does so many of these kinds of projects. I mean, it seems like the only way that you guys would ever do a live show is if you had like your Jack Russell's Great White and he had LA Guns on the same bill, then maybe you guys just got together and used one of the backing bands and did a couple songs, right?
Yeah, that's probably the best way to go about it.
That'd be fun. Do you think there would, or do you think there'd be other projects that, I mean, what other things could we dream up? Like, could we do like Jack Russell, George Lynch, Jack Russell, Warren D. Martini, Jack Russell,
You know,
Jimmy
it's
Page?
funny. You know, it's funny back in the early Dokken days, the early, I'm talking like 1983, 1984. This was actually 1982 or 83. I was living with Don and in Redondo Beach, and we were managed by Al Niven, and we had just started the band called Great White. You know, we took the name, changed it from Dante Fox to Great White, and I was living with Don, as I said, and I got a phone call and picked up a line. It was George Lynch, and Mick Brown was on the other line. And I'm like, hey, what's up? They go, hey, what's up, guy? I'm like, well, you want to talk to Don? No, 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 no. We want to talk to you. I'm like, about what? He go, all right, well, listen up before you say no. He goes, we want to get you to sing for Dokken. I'm like, what? I'm already in a band for one, and number two, Don's Dokken is his band. What are you saying? I don't understand. Well, we want to get rid of Don and want you to sing. Imagine with your voice and our music, man, we could just rule the world. I'm like, I really appreciate the compliment, but I mean, I don't see how that's going to happen. I mean, I'm in a band I love, and I believe in, and I started, a while ago with Mr. Kendall. You know what I mean? And it would take more than a compliment, and don't don't take me wrong. I mean, I think that would be a great combination. You guys are certainly fantastic players, and George, you're amazing. Um, and I imagine we come up with some great songs together. But I mean, you guys are already established. You're a great band, and I could never do that with my friend Don. And I go, I'm going to have to tell him about this phone call. Being I'm his friend, I mean, I'm living with the guy. You know that too, right? And they go, yeah. I go, well, okay. Hang on a second. Let me just get things all straight here. I said, I obviously can't do this. I appreciate like I said, the compliment, but there's no way I could do it. Maybe another time. And so it was a weird thing. And I said no. We hung up, and we were still friends. Everything was good. But I went and told Don, and he was like, "What?" I go, well, I just had to let you know, bro. I'm living here in your house, and your bandmates are calling me and ask me to sing for them. I thought you might want to know that one. I
That's
couldn't go.
wild. I never knew that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Uh,
crazy. So was he, I mean, he was obviously upset, but he must have gotten over it because they stayed
yeah,
together.
oh yeah, he got over it. He was not even a big deal after that.
They must have, I mean, they would have had to change the name too because the band was called Dawkins. So, I mean, if you
Yeah,
Don
yeah.
Dawkins,
It would have been weird to keep the same name. I mean,
yeah.
they could have because they owned the name before.
Right. I think there was a whole thing he was telling me about that when I had him on the show. Like,
Yeah, yeah. They own the name,
yeah.
and he had to get it back from them.
Yeah.
He sued something and got it back from him legally. But yeah, it was stripped.
That's so crazy with the name things. Like, because now there's your Jack Russell's Great White, and then there's the
All
regular
right.
Great White with Mark Kendall. Do you guys ever have like mix ups? Like, do you ever get their mail or phone call that was like for the other Great White, or like, how does that work?
No. Hey, is Mark there? No, he would be in my house.
But they don't ever screw up like that. Oh, we thought we were booking the other Great White. We didn't mean to book you guys.
Yeah, no, that hasn't happened. I
That's
mean,
good.
fortunately, I mean, fans it has. I mean, fans have come up and told me, hey, I went to the show and you weren't there. I thought, no, I'm not in that band. I'm in Jack Russell's Great White. And they
Right.
go, fair enough. You know, but that was a long time ago. I mean, it doesn't really happen much anymore. It still does, but just not that often.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is what it is, man.
Is this a true story too that speaking of like the lineup stuff, like you guys were gonna have you offered Robbin Crosby from Rat to join Great White as a rhythm guitarist, but then like he was too tall for the band or so, is that the
No,
problem?
no. Robbin Crosby asked me and Mark to join the band back when we were Dante Fox. It
Okay.
wasn't even Great White.
Oh, okay.
This is when we were Dante Fox. He goes, "Hey man, can I be in your band? I just love your band. I want to be in your band." And which, when you think about it later on, is ridiculous because they did better than Great White did. You know what I mean? Record sales wise and fame wise. So he wouldn't have done as well as he been in Great White. You never know what would have happened. You just don't. You don't know what the songs he would have came up with. But since it was basically me and Mark writing the songs, you know, it would have probably been around the same type thing.
Is it that
So,
big of a difference from Rat to Great White? They didn't sell that many more, did they?
yeah, they had probably a couple million more.
Oh, okay, a couple million. Okay. Yeah. Well, you guys did pretty well though. I think one of the most amazing things that you did was in the 90s. You pushed through. That was kind of like I've heard you recall that it was a little bit of a dark, depressing time, but the Can't Get There From Here album, it's so underrated. I love that. And
Oh yeah.
I was living in Seattle at the time. And in Seattle, they played Rolling Stone on the radio like several times. I thought that was pretty amazing feat for a bluesy 80s rock band to come out and do that. How did you do that?
How did I do that? I wrote a song. People liked it. Pretty easy.
Yeah. Well, part
Pretty
of it was
easy to
John
factor
Kalodner,
in.
right?
But yeah, yeah. I got us to deal with John. That was hard. I courted him for like 2 months. We went out and had so many lunches together. Jeez. And I kept bringing him song after song after song after batch of songs, and finally, I asked Jack Blaze if he would produce it, and I told John that, and he goes, "Oh, that's great. Let's do the deal." I go, "All right." So we went out and started recording. We had a lot of the writing done, and that song was just happened to be the single, and it was a great song. Great song. I wrote it about people I was in high school with, where they were and where they're at now, and it went over real well. Matter of fact, it was number 6 at rock radio, which for that time, anything at rock radio was not, you know, 80s rock. I don't want to call it 80s rock, but that style of music, just
Right.
traditional rock.
Yeah, it was all like grunge then. It was not if you played
Yeah,
like a happy, fun, rockin' song like that, it was
right.
rare.
Yeah, those weren't in vogue at the time.
Yeah. So I heard this explain this story to me like in August 2011, you had some sort of surgery or something and when you woke up from surgery, that's when you found out that Janie Lane had died. And Steven Tyler called you and he gave you some advice on getting sober. What was the advice that he gave you?
No, 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 no. I got sober back in first. I got sober with Steve, and that was in 1992.
Oh,
That was right before the Psycho City album, and we were just getting ready to record it. And I was just got married again a number of months earlier, and my ex had a 3-year-old son, and I thought, God, I need to get sober. I can't be, being a role model and being a pseudo dad and be a total mess. So I got sober. And Steven, yeah, he was involved in that a lot. He's my like mentor. I mean, for all intents and purposes. I mean, the guy is like one of the most amazing talents there is, in my opinion. And he just helped me out a lot. He'd call me every once in a while. I call him when I had a problem, and we just talk it out. And he was a great, great, great influence. And as far as the other thing, no, there was no surgery, and it didn't have anything to do with Janie Lane.
Maybe I just misheard that then. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but that did affect you, the Janie Lane death, right? I mean, that was kind of a wake up call to you.
Yeah, well, Janie Lane, hell yeah, that was a big one too. I mean, Janie was, my dear friend, When that happened to him, that was like, oh my God, that was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, he's so talented. I mean, do you think that that's part of why he was so talented, because of the way he felt emotions, and maybe that's why he fell into the drug thing so hard?
Um, yeah. I can almost answer that as a question myself. I mean, I would say yes, because musicians do feel a lot, I think, because of that's just a part of our makeup. You're writing songs, telling stories, and if you're a real musician and a real, artist, you're gonna write a song, and it's gonna be truthful, and it's gonna be coming from your heart and soul, and the stuff you write about is gonna be, you know, what's the word I'm looking for here? Be written about
Cathartic?
yourself. It's going to be written about yourself.
Okay. Autobiographical.
Autobiographical. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you. Um, if it's not, and you're not really, going to get emotions in there, and you're not really going to make people believe what you're selling. And if they can't believe it, then what's the point? Why you bother writing lyrics? Let somebody else do it. you know um so like when I write about my life, or things of where I've been, things I've done, people I've known, things that have influenced me through life. And it was it's strange if you look year through year through year through year at my lyrics. You see the change over the years. What's going on in my head. It's a trip we're taking.
Yeah. Well, and then a lot of these stories, then talk about the autobiography. You're actually writing an official book too. That's an autobiography. I think at one point it was called Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, but maybe now it's going to be a different title. But that's coming out this summer, 2024.
Yeah, that's the target date. We're almost done. And it's not autobiographical, it's just a biography. I'm working with a ghostwriter, Chips Enough's wife,
Yeah,
actually.
Caitlin. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Can you
she's
give us
great.
any teasers, like a story that's never been told that's going to be in that book?
Uh, you know, God, I'm trying to think of something here in a while. All right, I just heard this today. That's why I'm going to give it away, because I didn't even have the story in the book until I heard the story today, and I remembered it. Now I'm going to go back and put it in the book. We were doing a show in what was it, 1990, 1992, 91. It was a World Series of Rock, and it was with Whitesnake, Skid Row, us, um, John Wayne, and Neil Sean. What was that? Bad English, and a bunch of other bands. I forget, but Anthrax, and yada yada yada, and it was this big package, and we playing places like Alpine Valley at 40,000, and just huge, huge places. And we were doing this one show in a place called Normal, Illinois, this huge jumbo dome, the ginormous dome. And we played there, and they had the PA flown, on chains, coming down from the top of the dome. And somehow this chick had climbed up the catwalk up the side of the dome, and she was sitting she shimmied down the motor chains that held the PA up. And she was sitting on top of the cabinets, and all of a sudden I'm getting hit with cigarettes. I'm looking around, I'm just throwing these on me, man. And I look up and I see this chick up there swinging from the motor chains. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? So I told the crew, I go, start winching her down, man. Stop the show, you know. So we stopped the show, and they started lowering her down. And all of a sudden the crowd starts going, jump, jump, jump. And I'm like, no, no jump. No, bad idea. Don't do that. Do not jump. No, no, don't jump. And sure enough, she was about 20 feet off the deck, and she just jumped and landed on one of our road crew, broke his shoulder, broke her neck and her back, hitting on the protective barrier and the stage, paralyzed her from the neck down. She did this all because her parents wouldn't let her spend the night at her friend's house after the show.
Wow.
But a caution, you know, way trying to get even with your parents, you know, in a really ridiculous way, you know. I mean, that's like, you really mess yourself up. That's it. Your life is just, you know, over, really.
Yeah. It's like you got to think of a better way to deal with your issues. Geez, that's just
Yeah.
terrible. What a terrible ending to that story. That was not.
Yeah, well, that's not the end. That's not the
Oh,
end.
there's more.
So, yeah, after that, I'm at the show's over, and this is where the story came from. Not that part of the story, but this part. I'm doing an interview with this guy, and I walk backstage shirtless, and I had one of my nipple rings, you know, was on, and he has his microphone, and he goes, "Oh, where do I pin this? You're shirtless." I go, "Oh, here." I pinned it on my nipple ring, and he started laughing. He thought that was the funniest thing he's ever seen, but nothing was too funny at that point, though. You know, I was like, "God, did you just see that?" I go, "Are you kidding me? I almost got hit by it." Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, that was crazy. Crazy. Only in rock and roll, man. Only in rock and roll.
Yeah. Well, God, you've had some crazy highs and crazy lows.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
What's that?
I said, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to the book. The Russell Guns album is out now. And then I think I've also heard that there's a new Jack Russell's Great White record that's being worked on that's halfway through, should be out in a few months, maybe.
Man, I mean more than that because we got a lot of other stuff we're doing, but it'll be out.
Okay.
It'll be out. I just want to make sure I'm making sure it's going to be good because
Yeah.
the last one I think was just a brilliant record. That's just my opinion, of course, but
Yeah. Well, that's
um,
great. And you'll have some shows. People can check the website. I'll put that in the show notes for tour dates. And
yeah.
yeah, I'll have to check out a show. I saw you not with Jack Russell's, but the regular Great White back in Phoenix like 10 years ago or 15 years ago or something like that. So yeah.
I must have been 15 because we've been not playing together for that long at least.
Yeah, it must have been right at the end then. Yeah, but it was good. It was cool. Hopefully you hit Phoenix. And thanks for doing this, Jack. I appreciate it. Great stuff.
Hey, you're welcome, man. Anytime. My pleasure.
All right.
So maybe we can check it again after the record's out.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks so
All
much.
right, brother.
All right.
Have a great day, man.
You too.
All right.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to the full podcast episode. Please help support our guests by following them on social media and purchasing their products, whether it be a book, album, film, or other thing. And if you have a few extra dollars, please consider donating it to their favorite charity. If you want to support the show, you can like, share, and comment on this episode on social media and YouTube. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can give us a rating and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. Finally, make sure you're subscribed to the show on YouTube for the video versions and other exclusive content. We appreciate your support. Have a great rest of your day and shoot for the moon.